I am so happy to announce that CameronSaaiman.com, our website, is now up and running. So make sure to go to the website and subscribe to our newsletter to stand a chance to win a limited edition MSP cap. We'll also be doing monthly giveaways such as limited edition fight posters, fight kits, cash prizes, and also Pokerbet vouchers. So make sure to go to the website right now. Visit the link in our bio. My guest today is a rock legend from South Africa, one of the guys that we as a South African culture really look up to, and he's one of the best chats we've ever had on this show. He's also a boxer and now a marathon runner and hopefully an MMA fighter by the end of the year. It's none other than Francois Van Coke.
Cameron Saaiman, ladies and gentlemen. Cameron Saaiman taking care of business. Wow. That look says it all.
Before we get into this episode, I just want to tell you that this episode is brought to you by Pokerbet.co.za, South Africa's leading sports betting and poker betting platform. So make sure to visit the link in our bio, create an account, and enjoy countless games and fun giveaways. So make sure to go follow them on social media as well. But thank you, Pokerbet, for another episode of the MSP show. Enjoy. So we can just jump in.
That's right.
Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. You are probably just after the president, you are probably one of the busiest men on earth in terms of your scheduling. So it's awesome to have you here.
Yeah, it was hard to find time for this, but it's very lucky to be here. It's an honor, man.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, I'm a fan too. You know, it's really cool to see you. Obviously, you have a very successful music career, but then on the side, we just said it off camera, but you are completing like these side quests that we thoroughly enjoy. Firstly, it was Box Up. And now you're going to run a marathon as well. Just chat to us about, like, especially with the Box Up event. What was the thought process?
Yes, man.
How did you explain that to your wife?
Yeah, that was a hard one. In 2016, someone asked me to be part of a boxing event, like a charity thing. And I was like, okay, I've never boxed before. I'll try it out. And I trained for a couple of weeks, and I fought a guy, Rob van Vieren, the comedian. I don't know if you know who he is. And he beat me, but I thought I won. It's one of those, you know what I mean?
Classic. It's like my last fight, to be honest.
And then when COVID hit, obviously the celebrity boxing thing was also taking off internationally with Jake Paul and all of those cats. And then I wasn't doing a lot of shows, and but we were doing a lot of like streaming shows, like from like warehouses and from my house, and the ticketing company asked my manager if I would be keen to do a celebrity boxing event. And I said, okay, cool. I've done this before. I lost. I'm keen to do it again, and I'm going to try and win. But then they said, they want to get Faf de Klerk to be my opponent. So that he was the original guy, but obviously it's impossible to get him. He's obviously under contract with the Boks. And
we actually, for another event, we tried to get a few Springboks and through SA Rugby to try and organize that.
It's probably impossible.
It is it's the most impossible thing to do. Yeah. So you would have actually fought Faf de Klerk.
I would have given it a shot.
Okay. Okay, cool.
But then, it turned out to be Derek Hougaard, and I was like, okay, he's retired for 10 years. I think I can take this guy if I work really hard. And I started training with a guy in Bellville called Sali Johannes, and boxed at his gym for a while. And then we had a media day. And then I met the guys from Madford. So I met Matt Leishing.
He's brilliant.
And then I started talking to them, and I just connected with them. And Matt said, okay, cool, come to the gym on Monday and we'll check it out. And we probably had about 10 weeks to go before the fight. And I got there on the Monday. And before that, I was training maybe like twice a week. Then Matt was like, okay, you're going to train 6 days a week, and you're going to run like after you've been boxing in the morning. And I was like, okay, if that is what I need to do to win, I'm gonna do it, you know.
So he's like, what you're busy with, we like this, but let's just turn it up a notch.
Yes, So, and obviously for me at that time, we weren't playing a lot of shows, so I could really focus on doing this boxing thing. So for 3 months, I thought I was a boxer. I was like, went completely box before.
That's awesome.
I like unfollowed everything on social media. I just followed like boxing pages so I could scroll through it. I see a new punch every scroll. And
that's awesome.
watch like boxing dockies, and I just went completely box before. and then at the fight, and luckily I won. Against
and it was a very good fight
against the Springbok rugby player, which is, I thought at the time this is my last attempt at sports.
Yes.
At like a big victory in sport. I was 40 years old, obviously very late in your life to start boxing, but I enjoyed it so much. It was like one of the best days of my life.
That's awesome.
And the reaction I got from the public was insane because it was in that COVID time, so people were at home. They it was a Friday night, so people were watching it like all over the country, and just like the response I got was like bigger than anything I ever got from playing music. It was insane. And after the fight, I was lying in my bed, and obviously you've done this many times, but I've never done anything like that. Getting into a ring and you actually need to fight someone. After that, I was lying in my hotel room and I put my hands on my chest and my heart was still beating, like boom, 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 like 2:00 in the morning. So it was just this amazing experience, just training for a fight, doing it, and winning the fight was just one of the coolest things I've ever done.
It's so cool to hear that you actually just like really dove into just fully committing to that. Even just the social media aspect of watching content, because you can learn a lot just from highlight reel clips, stuff like that. How did you, jumping from training twice a week to 6 times a week is massive. Like that's a big leap. Did you feel it? Was it hard to adapt, especially having a wife, having kids, having also not a normal job, but having all the other obligations you had? How hard was it to fit that into your schedule?
Yeah, it was quite hard. I think my wife thought I was going crazy. She was like, what is happening to you? You're becoming this crazy sports guy. But I always thought the idea of being active and doing something is cool. But I didn't do shit. Like after school, I finished school, and I didn't do anything exercise-wise until I was about 34.
Yeah.
It was like 16 years of doing like no exercise.
Yeah.
So I started kind of doing exercise when I was in my mid-30s, but then obviously for this fight, ramped it up to the max. My wife thought I was crazy, but I think I adapted all right, because before that I was already running. I was kind of fit-ish.
Yes.
But just pushed it to the max there.
That's awesome.
And obviously it was a good time for me because I wasn't that busy with shows, because there wasn't that much happening in the COVID time.
How's the nerves? Obviously, you have performed in front of multiple thousands of people. How's the nerves changing from fighting in front of thousands of people compared to like performing?
It's very similar, eh?
Okay.
Like because the event was also at the Sunbet Arena in Pretoria, and I've done my biggest shows at that place too. So my dressing room for the fight was the same dressing room I had for my biggest shows too.
Doing vocal warm-ups while shadow boxing. So
I think the feeling is very similar. You walk out and you hear people cheering and you're under lights. So that thing is familiar. Yeah. But the big difference for me is like in music, you need to lose yourself on stage. Yeah. And in boxing, you need to stay composed.
Yes, yeah.
So I think that's the biggest difference.
That's very interesting. And obviously it's also very high pace. So you kind of get tunnel vision, where I think if you're a musician, do you try and really take everything in, take in the crowd, how they react? Or are you also very tunnel visioned on how you are perceived in the performance?
Yeah, it's weird. It changes over time. I think like at bigger shows, sometimes you also get tunnel vision because you want to make sure everything is perfect and you want to make sure everyone is playing tight and the songs are translating. But the idea, or now that I'm a little bit older, I try and take in, because you don't know how long it's going to last. You know what I mean? So I try and take it in now. And in the boxing thing, it was different because obviously I was in the ring, but I could hear my friends. Some of my best mates were there. And I could hear my friends shouting while I was fighting, like, Frade, awesome.
So you could identify key voices.
Their voices, which was awesome.
That's very cool. I must say, like when we fight as well, you can hear almost like a drumming of a bunch of shouting, but hearing like coaches in the corner is as clear as day. When they say something, you can almost identify
for sure.
certain voices, which is awesome.
But
And-
dude, sorry to
No, no,
interrupt you,
no.
but I think like I have so much more respect for people in the fighting game, because it's like just putting myself through that like very small scale to what you guys are doing, just putting yourself in that position is insane.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I respect it a lot.
But yeah, we have so much respect for you for doing that, because you're coming from a different industry. And was there a type of thought process where, man, if I lose this fight, it might do something, it might affect my other type of how I'm perceived by the public?
Yeah, no, I definitely thought about
Yeah.
that. I actually wrote a song in that time that I was training, called Ons het gewen.
Yes.
We won.
Yeah.
So, and I put that song out straight after the fight.
That
I
is
was
so
like,
sick.
I don't know if I'm going to put the song out if I lose, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
doesn't really
Yeah.
make sense. So obviously for me, I was like, if I lose, I would look like I lost, but I was fighting a Springbok. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So it would be okay.
But it's so cool that you wrote that. So just the mental strength to be able to be like, I'm committed to this. I'm backing myself. And now you actually putting it in writing as well. That's a form of like meditation. in
For
some
sure,
sort.
for sure. It was a reason for me also to try and hit it harder. You know what I mean?
Yes.
When I'm running in the morning, I'm thinking like, I'm putting out this song.
I really want to put out
Yeah.
the song. I have to work harder. Cool. That's awesome. And now, like we said, like one side quest done and dusted, box up is a thing. So now you're gonna run an ultra marathon as well. How did you go back to your wife and you're like, okay, babes, you know what? The boxing thing, we conquered that. Hear me out. Running Fokofpolisiekar.
Yeah, so, like the running thing I've been doing for a while. Like I would say the last 10 years, but I started running races for the first time just before COVID 2019. I did my first half marathon. And obviously that takes a lot of time, but I try and do that in time that doesn't interfere with my family, because my family is the most important thing in my life. So I schedule my work and life around them when I'm at home, because obviously I'm on the road a lot, so I have to put quality time in when I'm there. So I try running times that doesn't interfere. Obviously sometimes it does if I'm doing races and stuff. And I've done 2 marathons now, and it's that's like something hectic to put your body through. It's 42 kilometers, but now I'm doing a 56, which is like
That's
14 on top, at least an hour and a half
that
more,
is
you know.
that is so far.
So I'm not ready yet, but I will be ready
That's
in a couple
awesome.
of weeks. Yeah,
And that's happening in April.
yeah,
And you're also doing a fundraiser for that event.
yes, yeah.
Just chat about the fundraiser a little bit and how did that come about? doing
So
this?
a friend of mine, his name is Johan Nel. He works for this organization called Breadline, and they help underprivileged kids with school structures and stuff.
Okay.
So the previous, we did a fundraiser for a half marathon I did last year, and we raised money to rebuild the school in Vrygrond, which is amazing. And I told him then I'm not ready to do the 56, but I'll try and do it next year. So as soon as I entered, I told him I'm keen to help again if we can help. Yeah.
Okay, that is so sick. How does your training change from the boxing training to now? Do you have a whole new set of coaches? Obviously, you're probably working with someone that is helping you approach this from a different angle.
Yeah, I actually mainly run on my own.
Okay.
I've got a guy that I call him coach, but we kind of run together now and again.
Awesome.
And he works out like a running program for me. So he worked out something for me. He's a great guy, young dude, runs amazing. So I run with him a lot, but he I hold him back. You know what I mean? So I don't actually want to tell him all the time I want to run with you, because I know I know I'm holding him back. But yeah, he's kind of the only guy that kind of helped me in the running. Besides that, I kind of do it on my own.
Okay.
And I do a little bit of boxing still. I box like maybe twice a week.
Awesome.
Still mess around.
So you
with it.
still got it.
I don't know.
So whoever
it-
wants it can get it.
Yeah. I'm yes. I won't call myself a boxer. I think I thought I was a boxer for
Yes.
3 months when I had my fight, but now there's so much to learn. Like I feel like I'm a novice every time I go into the gym. You know what I mean?
Okay,
So
cool.
it feels like I'm learning, which is cool. That's what I like about it. I feel like I'm learning something new every time.
Now, after the ultra marathon, you'll continue running. I'm guessing that will probably be something that will be part of your weekly program or monthly at least.
Yeah, I'll definitely continue running. I actually just told Richard off camera earlier. I was like, this is a very long run. I don't know. Maybe this is my last long one. Because it takes a lot of time, and I don't really get time for other things that I would like to do. You know, I've got a surfboard that's standing in the garage since my kids were born. I haven't used that in like 8 years. I think it's time to surf a little bit, and maybe try something else. I'm not saying I'm forever going to run long distances.
Yeah,
but I'm always going to try and have some kind of active thing in my schedule. And what is cool for me being a musician, to have like one sporting goal a year is kind of cool, just to force me to keep fit,
Okay, we'll get back to that one sporting event, but you've mentioned your kids and the family time as well. Since now being a dad, have you adopted any like old-timer habits? Like I play golf. That's an old-timer sport, I think, especially with what we do, it's super intense. It's super, it's very almost in the red zone the whole time. The golf helps because you can settle down. You're in a cart, you just chilling, you're outside, hitting a ball, chasing after the ball. Do you have something like that?
I actually don't. I think running is probably my hobby too.
Okay.
Because that's the only time I really get to be alone.
Yeah, okay.
Because obviously I travel a lot, and mostly it's with band members.
Yes.
Or at least with Richard that's sitting here off camera. And then obviously I'm at home with my family. So the time I have alone is running. That's kind of my meditation, alone time, hobby. It kind of fills all those gaps for me.
Awesome. Just going back to the music career as well, and just I think this is a more selfish question because I really want to know what was the thought process of naming the band Fokofpolisiekar? And you've probably gotten this question a lot, but was it like sitting around the same table and being like, how can we piss off the most people?
Almost something like that, I guess. Because before Fokofpolisiekar, all of us played in English rock and punk bands. Since high school, I've been playing music since I was 15. It's probably the same as you, fighting.
Yeah, basically.
Kind of my whole life I've been involved in music. Always dreamed of being in a band when I was a lighty. When I went to high school, it was like 1994. And the grunge thing was massive. So it was Nirvana, Pearl Jam.
Yes.
Those were the big acts at the time, and I just wanted to pick up a guitar.
Okay.
So I started playing in bands in high school. My first show was in the Belleville Stadshall, like my hometown's town hall. It was this high school battle of the bands.
That's so sick.
We played 3 songs, and after the show, I got kicked out of the band. So
oh snap!
And Fernand that plays bass with me in Fokofpolisiekar. It's my best chum and my manager and my band member. He played bass in that band. So they kicked me out after the first show.
Did you guys at least win the show?
No, not at all. I think we probably came stone last. Because I think before the Battle of the Bands, we started the band like maybe 2 weeks before. It was like, there's a Battle of the Bands, we have to start a band, that kind of thing.
Cool.
And then played in punk bands and rock bands. And I also I studied sound, so I did a bit of live sound when I finished school. And then we started joking about starting this Afrikaans band because at that time it was kind of taboo. It was very uncool to celebrate Afrikaans stuff. Early 2000s, the country just changed. Afrikaans had a lot of a bad kind of stigma around it, and we were like, ha ha ha, we'll start an Afrikaans band one day and go play all the small little towns. And then we drove to the beach one day, me and Wynand, and we were stoned.
Yeah.
and I was driving his car. I don't know why I was driving his car, but
because he was very stoned.
Probably more stoned than me. And a sedan pulled in front of me, and I was like, "Fokofpolisiekar."
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Oh man, that's the name for our Afrikaans band.
Yeah.
We thought, that's, like a kind of fuck you to establishment. And,
Yes.
fuck you kind of to the normal way of doing things.
Yeah.
And then we found Hunter that also plays in Fokofpolisiekar, and we said, dude, we've got the name for this Afrikaans band, Fokofpolisiekar. And we saw him again like about 2 weeks later, and he was like, what's the name of our band again? Fokofpolisiekar. And we were like, oh, even better.
That's much better. That is so sick.
So then we had the name, and then after we had the name, we kind of started writing the songs.
Yeah.
And then when we started writing those first songs in Afrikaans, it was like, we can actually be really honest in our mother tongue, and it set something free.
Awesome. The name almost set up a type of precedent for the almost cult following that you got after that, because it was almost like a fuck you to the establishment. What came first? Was it the name, and then you guys were like, okay, this is the angle we wanted to write the music in, or was it you guys sitting around a table chatting about how you guys feel about certain concepts and structures within society, and then forcing that, and then it just happened to be that the name came into play?
Yeah, it kind of went hand in hand.
Okay.
Yeah, because we came up with that name, and that's how we felt.
Yeah.
And then the songs came out easier, and we could be really honest about how we feel.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to break away from the normal, traditional, conservative Afrikaans backgrounds that we grew up in.
Yeah.
And we wanted to create something different for Afrikaans people.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people at the time connected with that. And we didn't realize that so many people would connect with it. But we recorded stuff in the band room, like terrible recordings, and made it on tape. And we gave it to our friends, and they connected with it immediately. Awesome. And then we were like, damn, maybe we have something.
Okay.
And then we made a mission to kind of get the name out there.
Yeah.
So we started advertising the band before there was anything, before we recorded anything, probably 8 months before we launched the album. And we got money together through Beg, Steal and Borrow. Actually, we were cast in an ad. The whole band was cast as a backup band for like an Avril Lavigne kind of girl.
Yeah.
It was a German ad, and they paid us just enough money to actually fund our recording.
That is
which was amazing. So we went up and recorded the album, and everything kind of happened from there. And it for Fokofpolisiekar it was almost immediate success, because I think there were people that were just looking for this thing that we luckily tapped into. It was like kind of right place, right time, right people. It was just like everything kind of
you guys
aligned.
really filled the gap.
Yeah, I think it was something that people were looking for, and if we didn't do it, someone else probably would have done it.
Was there a part of you, because with this rising fame, rising popularity of the band, there was also a lot of resistance from the media side, or the conservative media side. Was there a part of you that was honestly within your heart, you were just like, just happy that it's happening?
Definitely. I can remember the first TV interview I did. I was super nervous and hungover. And it was with Jornay van Huisteen from Groot FM.
Yes.
And he was obviously still way younger than now. But they kind of tried to put me on the spot. You're this controversial band. What are the Tannies going to say? And I loved the fact that we're the most controversial band in the country. There was like kind of almost like an honor. And we just thought, we've got this controversial name that we're not sure if anyone's going to print in the media. We're not sure if anyone's going to say it on radio. Not sure if anyone's going to eat it up, but we're going to try and be the best band possible so people take it kind of seriously.
Yeah. And then after that, the band not broke up, you went to your separate ways, and you guys still, after years, you guys came back, did a single or two. When you decided you're going to go on your own, did your type of approach to how you wanted to be perceived, did that change a lot? Did your songwriting change a lot, and the message that you wanted people to know?
I think a couple of things happened. I went through kind of personal changes in my life, like to put it bluntly, I got sober. So that obviously changed a lot. And with my solo career, it also came by chance because, like I said earlier, I always wanted to be in a band. You know what I mean? I never in my life thought I would be a solo artist or been seen as a singer. I just wanted to be part of a band. You know? But yeah, things happened within Fokofpolisiekar. Some of the guys wanted to do other things, and we had this other band, Van Coke, Cartel, and some of the guys also left the band and went, or one of the guys left the band and went to the States to pursue a career there. And it was both these projects of mine were kind of in a kind of a chilled hiatus. So we weren't working on anything at the time. And then I kind of had this time on my hands and I started writing these songs that became my first solo album. And yeah, I went through obviously personal changes and I wanted to make something that does not sound like those bands. So I didn't want to make a heavy rock album. I think that was the main aim. I think there's a bit of a heavy rock on there, but that was I wanted to make something that sounds different.
It is also very hard to rock out by yourself. Just
for sure. It's a little bit different that I'm a solo artist, but I also play with a band. So it's that kind of thing I will never escape. I'll never be able to do it like the guys that do it with the backtracks. You know what I mean? I will always play with a live band. So that thing I can kind of still rock out, I guess. But I want to make something that's different. And I can't remember what.
No. It's more just with your approach to the music. How it changed, and did your songwriting specifically did that product change?
I think there's a lot of similarities still. I mean, I think there will always be that thing. I want to stick it to the man. It changes how you stick it to the man, I guess. But I think that thing is always going to be in there. There's a love song on that album that I think I have probably written love songs before, but there was a love song that became really popular, and I think that's probably what people associate me with most from that first solo album. That's that song with Cartel to Fin to Go. But I mean, I think my approach was more or less the same. I just wanted to make honest music that reflects who I am at that time and where we are at, as a world at the time.
Awesome. When we get the pleasure of also, just like you, if you feature other artists onto your songs or you work with someone else, with us it's a lot like training. You go either out of the country, you go train overseas, or even just gyms in South Africa. You get to work with a handful of people. Like, for instance, just stealing mentality, ideas, fundamentals from someone like Drickus for myself. It's always great to be able to be in that environment where you can almost see how he does things, how he approaches things from different angles. Coach Neil Geyser is one of our grappling coaches, and how he has a other attentive angle where he is so thoughtful of the movements. With all the artists you've worked with, is there someone that really stands out in how you almost have respect or interesting angles on how they approach their songwriting and their creation?
Yes, man. I've worked with so many great South African.
It is a hard question. Sorry.
It is a tough one, but it's very similar. Like you said, like training with other people. Because I learned so much from those people too, not just in songwriting, also about their personalities and how they do things and how I need to deal with people, because everyone's different. It's difficult to say who stands out. I mean, for me, probably the stuff that stands out most is probably the songs that were the most memorable. I think like Dance, Dance, Dance with Jack Barrow was kind of my first collab, and he's an old mate, and that's always going to be a cool one, because it's kind of one of the first collabs I did. And then obviously the song with Cartel did a lot for my career. I think like if that song wasn't there, my career wouldn't have been the same. And then,
very interesting. Why do you say that? Why do you think? Is it just the exposure itself of the song?
Yes. It changed everything for me. It was like overnight. It changed everything in one day.
Awesome.
It was like I released the album that morning. We made this music video. I had like very limited money. I told the director, put me and Karen in a room and shoot it. That's it.
Awesome.
And the day that I launched the music video, I still made it live on YouTube, and that was the first I rehearsed with the band that plays with me in my solo.
Yes.
They called Gevaar, that Richie is also a part of that guy.
Yeah.
And by that afternoon there was like 25,000 views, like by 2:00 in the afternoon, and that was kind of unheard of at the time. And by the next morning there was like 90,000 views. So it was just a song that connected with people or more people than what I've connected with in the past.
Yeah.
So with Fokofpolisiekar and Van Coke Cartel, there were people that connected with this song that would never have connected with those bands before that.
100%.
So like for instance, my folks, my dad is a dominee, a Dutch Reformed minister. So they kind of could never really connect with my tunes. Obviously, it was like a little bit offensive to them, and it was Fokofpolisiekar was a massive shock to them.
Yes. How did they handle that?
They handled it with grace.
Okay, that's a great answer.
Never fully supported it.
Yes,
but still supported me, if you know what I mean.
That's awesome. That's a lot like fighting, to be honest. Like I still remember we were at like a family dinner, and I was about 17, 18 years old, and I told my aunt I told her, no, I'm not gonna go study. I'm fighting full time next year. And I could just see the expression just drop immediately. And it's just like, I'm going to do that whether you like it or not. I don't really have other options. I'm quite good at punching people in the face. So it was a thing of like, they support you, but not the product of what you're doing.
Exactly. So for them, it changed when To Vind Ek Jou came out.
Because you're just a banger.
No, they never said that. It's like their friends started asking them for CDs from me. So they were like, if our friend's okay, then it's probably all right. You know what I mean? So I think that changed. And on that day when that video came out, on that same day, people started sending me videos of their kids singing this song.
Yeah.
That I've never experienced that before that song came out. So obviously now it's a little bit different. Our fans are a little bit older, more have kids. So more kids are singing the songs now. But then, I mean, this is almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It was unheard of. So it just connected with a lot more people. And I think that made me a little bit more acceptable, I guess, in the eyes of the greater public. So the Tannies were like, okay, this Satanist from Fokofpolisiekar is maybe not that bad. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
He has one banger song. To Vind Ek Jou.
But still, to this day, I mean, a lot of people come to the shows to see that song. You know what I mean? Still to this day.
That's great. That's always something I really am interested, because especially like in fighting, you get asked a lot of the same questions.
Of course.
The classic, is jy reg? Are you ready?
Yeah, okay. And that people probably tell you to keep your hands up.
Always. Photos, it's like, protect your face. It's like, I'm going to try. But do you sometimes get tired to... You can switch up. Luckily, you have a massive song list, but you also want to give the fans... There's certain key songs you want to give fans every single time.
Yes.
Do you sometimes get tired of repeating those songs?
Yes, to be honest, not really.
Okay.
I probably won't listen to them.
Okay.
And
that was my next question.
The ones that we play very often, we won't rehearse either.
Yeah.
But the biggest songs and the songs that people really connect with, it's always cool to play it.
Yeah.
I mean, like something like Fokofpolisiekar, this song.
Yeah.
That song is like, it's like 21 years old. I don't feel like that 23-year-old guy anymore. But if I sing it and people connect with it, I still love doing it.
Yeah.
And it takes me back to that place. It makes me kind of feel like I'm 23 again.
That's cool. Yeah, I think Almal Beklei is probably... I don't listen to a lot of music, and Larisse can attest to that as well. Like she loves music. I listen to podcasts, but Almal Beklei, you and Zaan Sonneke's, that song is like, that's one of the songs on repeat. Definitely,
awesome,
especially when we're jogging. So
nice.
it's a lekker one.
Cool.
How, with looking a little bit into the future, Has the family life and your kids, have that had an effect on future products coming out, future songs? Is that going to play a role in what we can see into the future?
Yeah, they definitely have an influence. I mean, I've written songs about my kids. I've also written songs about my dog.
We want the dog song, please. We want.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe there's not a dog song, but it's definitely mentioned in songs. I think it's mentioned in more than one.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got 2 tattoos of this bulldog that died like 5 years ago. So he was like my child before I had kids. You know,
That's awesome.
So obviously, like everything that's a part of my life influenced what I write about. Like I said, I try to write honest, and it's like kind of autobiographical. So I think everything kind of comes out. So they definitely have an influence, and yeah, I definitely keep them in mind.
Yes,
for sure in what I write, but it's not going to change what I am, you know. Like I tell my kids that I'm only allowed to swear when it's in the song.
Okay,
you know?
cool. Yeah.
Play it down slightly. My daughter hates swearing, so she doesn't say the band's name. She says like
Kariki.
So she would say like the dirty word Polisikar.
Okay. I mean? Okay. So she's keeping you on your toes as well.
So she keeps me on my toes, which is great. So yeah, I try and watch my language at home as well.
Cool. You briefly mentioned the tattoos. Now, if you can only save one of those tattoos, the rest have to go.
One.
Yeah. Okay. Top 3. Let's give you top 3. I think that's.
So it has to be my kids. It's probably these 2.
Okay, so that counts as one. Let's do that as well.
We're done separately, so they feel like 2 in my mind. But that's one. Now I'm think. They called me the Belleville Bomber when I was fighting. I've got that tattooed on my stomach.
That is sick. That is the
I
coolest.
didn't come up with a name. When I was introduced before the fight, they were like, the Belleville Bomber. Van Coke.
It's not your nickname if you came up with it yourself.
Okay.
We also have a rule at Team CIT. You don't get to pick your own nickname.
MSP?
Yeah, it got given to me by Doemini, by Henny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But why is he called Doemini?
Because he's actually a Doemini.
Oh, really?
Well, he was a Doemini.
Oh, crazy. Because
Yeah.
I was called Doemini a lot in my life because my dad's a Dutch foreign minister. So I was just wondering why.
Yeah.
Is MSP what I think it is?
100%.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So, but if my mom asks, most savage player. Okay. Just looking into the future, and I know there's obviously things that you're working on. What are you most excited for this year, for year 2024? Are there anything like any products, any albums, singles that you're really looking forward to releasing?
Yeah, I'm actually working on my 5th solo album.
Okay.
But it's going to be a long project. It's like a year. I'm going to put a year of work into the songs that I want to put on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the first single out in November and then the album early 2025.
Okay.
So that's my mission for the year. That's what I think about most of the time.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of with writing songs, you never really switch off from doing it.
Yes.
It's like I wake up in the morning and then I think like, what can I say there? What do we need to change here? So I never kind of stop thinking about it. When I go to bed, I listen to it in my headphones before I fall asleep, and then I can't sleep because I think about it too much, you know?
Yeah.
So that's like my main mission. I'm not kind of switching off on that. I'm working on that with a bunch of guys, different producers, different writers. And yeah, very excited about doing that. That's like a project. You know?
Yes.
So that's my main mission. And then, I think like just released the Fokofpolisiekar album end of last year.
Yes.
So we're kind of busy pushing stuff out for that. We're going to release some music videos and singles from that album.
Awesome.
And we normally do like a big party, like a birthday party every year in Pretoria here.
Yeah.
So we'll do a big party for that. And then I do my big show, the Francois Van Coke thing, which is like my baby.
Yes.
So that's my main mission show wise.
That was my next question. Is you have like this very carefully curated show in terms of who you allow onto that show, and going into the future, will that lineup grow? Will you keep it like the way it is now? You have like a bunch of artists featuring on that show as well. But are you going to look to add more artists onto that, or are you going to keep it the way it is now and really focus on honing that product?
This year we're gonna keep it the same. We're actually gonna narrow it down a little bit. There's gonna be a little bit less friends this year.
So some of them are going to have to fight it out. Yeah.
No, they're already booked. So they can't fight about it. They can probably fight with me later.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're tightening it up a little bit this year because I'm not releasing any new music this year. So I'm not doing any new collabs.
Yes.
Like last year, I did especially for the show, I did a couple of collabs so I can get new people on the show. So yeah, I don't want to try and milk a collab just to really get it on the show. I want to keep it kind of authentic. So this year we're gonna narrow it down again, but very possibly in the future we'll allow more people on, and we got to keep it kind of fresh as well.
Yes.
You know, it's that show's a complete collab show. So it's everyone that I've worked with. Kind of the prerequisite is we have to write a song together to be on the show. So a lot of people ask me, can I get on the show? And I'm like, if we write the song together, then we can do it. You know.
Awesome. With that show and working with people and having those characters there, because there are a bunch of people that are, it's fun to have them there. Like you mentioned Jack Barrow as well. You mentioned like Zahn is there, Corin Zoid. Who's the type of show clown? Who's the guy keeping the energy up, keeping the morale going? Because it is also very intense. It's super intense preparation, traveling.
Yeah, sometimes it's more intense than others. Like sometimes we move into that venue and you have to get the show ready and then play that night. Okay, that's intense and stressful. Yeah, I must think who's this show clown. I'm not really sure who's this show clown, but the people I have to watch out the most and keep the booze away the furthest is the Devil's Fantastic.
Okay, cool. So
good mates, love them. They're like family. They are actually family. Peter, the singer, is my cousin.
Yeah,
Hunter plays with me in Fokof. Fred, I work with a lot, like on other music, but. Yeah, they're the guys you need to watch out for. The heart attack only comes out when the show starts because they can probably overshoot. You know?
100%. Awesome. And then outside of the music career, is there any small ticks you want to make this year? You have the marathon coming. Maybe squeeze another personal goal in before the end of the year. Is there anything that you really want to do?
I thought about
because I have a suggestion. I actually have something for you here.
Okay, but please suggest something because I thought I had enough on my plate.
So these are shin pads.
Ooh, okay.
And very selfishly, if you want to start MMA and start competing into MMA, we can make that happen.
Okay.
So you can start kicking as well.
Amazing.
We'll run you through the wrestling.
I've kicked a rugby ball. Is there anything similar to that?
I probably have the most groin strikes in the UFC, so I'll be able to. We'll go through the ball kicking session. We can run through that. So if you ever want to compete in MMA or even in grappling, I think that's something.
Do you think 43 is a good time to start?
That's the perfect age to start. Really, like, that's how you do it.
Yeah, I've actually been taking my light team.
That down.
Thank you for my present.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'll give it a smash.
Yeah.
No, I've actually been taking my light team. He's like 3 years old now. He goes to like a jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
And he kind of plays games with him and stuff, which is very cool for me to watch and see like how they go crazy. And my lighty loves it.
Yeah.
So he suggested I must come and do some.
That's awesome.
Some of that. So roll a little bit. But I've never tried that. And just seeing the wrestling today at the gym, it was.
Yeah, that was quite intense.
It made me feel tired just watching it. Like, I mean, I don't think I'll survive with anyone.
Yeah.
A novice for 30 seconds. So
that's great for the kids. You know, we have a big kids program at CIT, and we have a lot of parents calling us, and they're like, what if, especially if your kids are that young, you don't want them to start something and then hate it by age 5. And then it's always the thing of what should they start? And we always say wrestling, jiu-jitsu, or gymnastics. Like, if you can do a little bit of all of that, them. It's just for that proprioception, balance, body control. It's awesome.
Cool.
And the same thing at 43 years old. Like you can really jump in there and you'll have a great time.
Cool.
It's hard on the body though. But
I'm keen. I've got a sore
Yeah.
toe from running. It's constantly sore. It's been sore for a couple of years. But that's the only injury I have at 43. So I'm feeling pretty fresh. I'll give it a smash.
my girlfriend said it there. She asked me yesterday because she had a boxing session at the gym, and afterwards she's like, "Is your body this sore the whole time?" And it's like, "Yep, pretty much, pretty much."
It looked like some of the guys that got up there and they had to go wrestle. They looked like sore while they were getting up.
Yeah, because they did. So we did 5-minute rounds of stand up before that.
Okay.
So everyone was quite beaten up.
Oh, so was
of
that everyone? At
everyone
the same
against
time?
everyone, yeah. And then it's balls to the wall. You try and knock each other out.
Those guys look tired, like going into that wrestling.
Definitely. So with the kids and with the family, if you really want to switch off and really escape everything, do you guys go away? Are you a beach guy? Are you a bush guy? What do you guys do to really reset?
Yeah, being from Cape Town, obviously, probably.
He's laughing because I said, "Are you a bush guy?" Bos, strand of Bosveld.
I know what you mean.
Fuck you guys.
I was about kids and bush. I didn't connect the two.
Wildlife or beach?
No, I think we're more like we come from Cape Town. I mean, I'm in the burbs, but it's close enough to the ocean. So yeah, we go to the beach a lot. That's my mission. Yeah, obviously in my life things have changed. When I was your age, when I started touring, it was like the ultimate thing to do. You know, going from city to city, new place every night. The accommodation that you stay in is probably better than what I had at home.
At home, yeah.
Get to hang with your chums, get gesape every night. Now, 20 years later, it's like when I'm on the road, I always feel like I'm on my way home.
Awesome.
So that's my mission, is like to get home and spend time with my family. That's like that's what I do. Like I said, I have a hobby, running, and my life is, besides for playing music and being away, is I try and focus my time with my family. I'm actually taking them to the Kruger in the middle of the year, so they're gonna see the bush.
Bush people.
They're gonna see the bush. But we don't know.
I'm sweating now because of that. I'm like, oh.
We don't know the bush that well. You know what I mean? What I know about the bush is. Okay, wat ek weet van die bos.
Ja, van die bos.
Is camping it op die koppie.
And last question, if there's a standout show for you, really a key moment that really, to your deathbed, you'll never forget, what is that moment? I know you've had a lot of them, but if the first one that really comes to mind, what is that moment?
I'd probably have to go with a couple comes to mind, but I think probably the one that was the ultimate for me was playing the Sun Arena for the first time with Frans en Vrienden 2018.
Yeah.
And it was the first time we attempted something that big, and we didn't expect to sell it out, and it was a sold out show. Just people that are there for, it's not a festival where people come for everyone. It's kind of, they come for a focused thing. Yeah, I think that's kind of the ultimate show so far. Obviously, we've done it a couple of times now, and all of them kind of stand out. But I think the first one is probably one that it's probably very memorable. And then I think also the first Fokofpolisiekar show, that was like a moment where it felt like everything that we've done so far built up to this moment and felt right for the first time, really. So
awesome. That's great. But thank you so much for your time. Thank you
for
coming on to the show. I know you are a very busy man.
Thank you for having me,
Cameron.
It's awesome.
Seeing us wrestle in our basically
like
in our
the
pajamas.
smell of man in that place was intense.
It's just testosterone.
It's like, this smells like man.
And bush. But thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Awesome to be here. And dude, I'm a massive fan.
Thank you.
I've been following you since the beginning. I woke up like for your early fights very early in the morning and slept afterwards again.
You're welcome.
So I'm a massive fan and happy to meet you and hang out a bit.
But yeah, thank you for what you do for our community, for our industry, for our country. It's awesome to see, and I can't wait to see what you do. I almost said I'll do the marathon with you, but then I remembered
you have to fight before that.
I have
right?
to fight that as well, and I'm a terrible runner. So we'll think of something else that we can
how's
do.
your running? Yeah, what I heard
Yes.
when I was boxing was this. That you can practice as hard as the other guy, you can spar as much,
Yes.
but the guy that does the most, what do they call it in boxing?
Road work.
Road work.
Yes,
So like I call it running.
Yes.
In boxing and MMA, I guess you call it road work. The guy that does the most road work is the guy that's going to take it.
I probably think like I cap my road work at like 8 kilometers. Now it's actually, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. But yeah, thank you so much for being
Cool.
here. It's
Lucky
been
to be here,
awesome.
man.
And if you guys want to check out whatever Francois is busy with, go check out all the links down below. We'll put everything down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're out. Cheers.